Okay, we're back with Katie Salen, and there's been a discussion here on how to proceed. I think we're going to be all right. So Katie, the idea of emergent gameplay comes up a lot in your writing and your work. Games are not a static linear medium, as we know. It's a world that's always in flux in some way. Can you talk a little bit about the concept of the sandbox?
Well, sure. So we've already talked a little bit about how games are interactive and the fact that because they're systems that have to react in real time to players, that there are all kinds of emergent behaviors that happen. I mean, the other big piece is the idea that we're in a multiplayer space here, and once you begin to put a lot of people together in the same place, you sort of never know what's going to happen.
Ow! I'm getting hit by falling crates here. I think I've stumbled into electronic sandbox hell.
So the idea of the sandbox is games like Grand Theft Auto is one of the very first ones that sort of took on that moniker of a game that had such a depth of different kinds of options, of kinds of gameplay that people could engage in, that they really became spaces for people to determine their own kinds of goals, their own kinds of gameplay options and things that they wanted to do in the space. And when you take it to the extent of something like the source forge maps here, you can begin to talk about the virtual space, and the code base really is a sandbox that allows people to use their imagination to build whatever they would like to build.
Something that comes up a lot in our discussions is what Ken Wark and others have said about changes in transport and communication throughout history as this trend toward further and further abstraction of places, things, and even experience. And that it might be leading to this sort of random access future where everything is modular and interchangeable. So is it too much of a wide-eyed futurist thing to say that games are like early training for the virtual life of the future? I mean, hopefully without the whole alien war thing going on.
Oh no, I think absolutely, and I think that with the rise of digital technology, people have learned to inhabit multiple spaces sort of simultaneously. And people used to always talk about you're in the real world or you're in virtual space, and now people are really thinking about them as blended. And they're in some sense thinking about reality as quite modular. Whoop, there I go, flying around.
Okay, things are obviously falling apart here, so feel free to defend yourself.
It's hard not to shoot people, I must admit. Where'd you go?
Oh, just in the middle of a death match. Stay there, I'll come over to you. Oh, there you are. So it's fair to say then that gaming and digital culture in general are having an increasing effect on our daily experiences?
Oh yeah, so it is interesting. That identity is split and distributed across spaces. I mean, if we look at the number of social networks, for example, a single person might be part of, just with usernames and passwords, you can really think about that as quite an abstraction of identity. In a sense of self, in a sense of kind of location within communities. So I think that the way the technology is handling representation is becoming a way our experience is also being handled.
Great. Thanks, Katie Salen, for joining us. I hope the shrapnel and explosions don't cause any permanent trauma.
That was an absolute pleasure. Thanks so much.
Hello? Hello? Is anybody here?